This is part of our series of mistakes that worked, and it's looking at dog guides for blind people using seeing eye dogs. So World War I lasted for more than 4 years, back in 1914 to 1918. And during that time, there were many millions killed and even more wounded, 21 million wounded. And so towards the end of World War I, there was a doctor walking outside of a German military hospital with a soldier who had been blinded in battle. And the doctor's dog joined the walk, but when the doctor was called into one of the buildings to handle something really quickly, the blind soldier was left alone with the dog. Soon the doctor returned, but the blind man and the dog were missing. And so when the doctor found out that the dog had led the patient all throughout the hospital grounds safely, he wondered, well, what would happen if we actually trained dogs to do this? And so he then started trying to do that. And so they then created the Dog Guide program. An American woman visited Germany to learn about this, and she wrote about it in the newspaper. And in 1929, the first dog guide school called the CNI Incorporated was established in the United States. And now today, there are actually several major organizations that train dogs and instruct blind people in their use. The most popular breeds are German Shepherds, Golden Retrievers, and Labrador Retrievers. And they have to learn hand gestures and simple commands in order to lead blind people across streets, to avoid people or other obstacles, avoid holes, to not walk into low-hanging tree limbs or those kinds of things. But more importantly than that, the dog has to learn to exercise good judgment. If the blind person says go forward, but the dog sees that there's a risk of going forward, the dog has to know when to disobey. So they have to teach these dogs something called intelligent disobedience. They have to know to disobey in order to keep their owner safe. And so that's very difficult. So this is how it all came to be, although this really isn't totally new and not totally a mistake that worked, because we actually see in wall paintings and ancient scrolls and other legends that this even dated back to 100 BC when dogs were used to help lead blind men. But we're talking about the intentional present-day usage of it, and it came all because that soldier was left alone with his dog, and his dog led him around. And so that is how we came to use guide dogs to help blind people get around at times.